The fight with Tommy Morrison, whew, that's another long story. I got a phone call from Stan one day. He moved me out to Vegas, um, and he assigned me as my trainer. He assigned Eddie Mustafa Muhammad to be my trainer. I mean, he and I just like clicked like, you and I click. Stan says, Mike, we got some tickets for the George Foreman Tommy Morrison fight. Great, okay, nice, all right, cool. So we went there, watched the fight. Tommy was like, firing on all six cylinders, like smartly. Clearly outboxed George. Some people said that George had tanked it, like nah, no, Tommy beat George, period. And so we're at the after fight press conference, and Stan's like, okay, Mike, you're gonna be Tommy Morrison's first defense, huh? No, I responded like that on the inside, like, okay, but I put the mask on. Okay, good. Like, fuck me. Okay, right, okay. Eddie Mustafa says to me, he told me something that no trainer has ever told me or shared with me. He said, he asked me, he said and asked me, at some point, Tommy's gonna hurt you. And when the fighter hears the word hurt being applied to him, we bail emotionally, right? I got it. Because that was the language that I connected to. Okay, so so that's the game plan. I'm hurt. And he asked me what you gonna do? Okay. I said, I'm gonna relax. He smiled. Right, relax. Keep your hands up. Right? Because at some point, as he's going in for the kill, he's gonna make himself vulnerable. Those weren't his exact words but that was the gist of what he was saying. I'm like, yeah, okay. I get it. And the month or two prior to the fight, I would sit in my room in my apartment in Vegas, man, and I would watch Tommy Morrison, his fights on tape, religiously, bro. It was like I would watch Tommy like a religion. And I would break down when he would get anxious and nervous, and I would turn the sound down, because when you watch fights, blah blah blah, you can be influenced by the bullshit commentators. I didn't right. I'm like, nah, these motherfuckers aren't gonna influence me and make me take me out of my game. Relax. And every time that Tommy got somebody hurt, he would take a deep breath. And when we take a deep breath and focus on stepping on the gas without keeping our hands up, how many hands you got?
Two.
How many hands I got?
Two.
It's even Steven, right? That's what Eddie said to me. And, in Tulsa, I got clipped with Tommy's patented left hook right here, temple. I was hurt. The best thing that could have happened to me is Jerry Jones, because that prepared me for Tommy Morrison. If I beat Jerry Jones in that first fight and have 15, 20 wins by blah 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 bums or whatnot, I'm not beating Tommy Morrison, man, because I don't have anything to prove deep down.
Bentt's in trouble. Jones all over him now. What a drastic.
And when I stepped into that ring, I had something to prove. Tommy, dude, as an amateur, you may have been good, but you were a local amateur. I was a national star. At least like that's how I had to that's how I had to frame it in my mind.
This is the best I've seen Michael Bentt for a couple of years, Randy. He really looks good.
That shot, that right hand that I threw was like completely. It wasn't planned, but like if you plan your attack well enough, your positioning, even when you're on defense, opens up opportunities, man.
Oh, Tommy stunned by a right hand, and down goes Morrison.
Yeah, I was lucky. And what's luck? Opportunity means preparation, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luck?
No, but like, luck is opportunity, means preparation.
Okay.
I got the shot. Stan gave me the shot, and I was prepared.
Right.
Luck in that context.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot of different luck.
Well, yeah, right. That's just like a fancy way of saying like I'm happy I won that fight. You know what I mean? I'm happy like in that moment like that Tommy like disregarded me to the degree that he did, because like once again I get knocked out by like Jerry Jones, I'm damaged goods, because that was the running line. As like as a professional in my career, and like Tommy beats George Foreman. Like I mean, who expects me to beat Tommy Morrison? A lot of people did though. Yeah.
What'd that fight do for you? I know obviously there's a lot of impact on that fight.
Yeah.
Monetarily,
Yeah.
Fame, money, the whole thing. But
No,
no?
no. I mean, like the money, like not to cut you off, we act just like yeah, okay. The money that I made from Tommy, I made like what? Stan told me that the contract was maybe 120, I believe. And that's decent for a guy who has 9 fights, blah blah blah. Got knocked down, but like in the first round of his first pro fight. But like I remember like clearing 60,000. Yeah, something like in that bracket. But like as you know, when you're a champion, you make the money after you become champion, right? And I made like $750 to fight Herbie.
Okay.
Not a lot of money, but like it's if I was smart, and luckily I am smart, I invested it a bit, and there's no way in the world like that I was making like Mike Tyson money, or the money that's like being thrown around today,
Right.
So.
What about, was that fight redemption for you, the Morrison fight? Did you finally feel like...
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah. For me, that fight, you mentioned redemption. Absolutely. In every meaning of the word redemption. Yeah. Because once again, 5-time national champion. And dude, like, so Tommy Morrison did not do that. So to me, I can say this now, like, Tommy wasn't in my league. He wasn't in my league, or so I thought, but like, you have to think that. He wasn't in my league in terms of what he's been exposed to, like as an amateur. Evander Holyfield once said to me, like, you make a reputation in the amateurs. You make your reputation in the amateurs, right? And like, that's always stuck with me. And so Tommy, like, he didn't have that kind of reputation. And maybe it doesn't matter, but like, when you sign with like, a Bob Arum, and like, he's gonna push you. One of the most beautiful moments of that whole like me beating Tommy Morrison phase was when I went back to Las Vegas and I was invited to a boxing match, right? I don't know if I've ever told you this. And so I'm like, walking through the crowd, blah blah. People is like, recognize me, like some not. I mean, like a vast majority not, And someone jumps on my back, and like it's not jumping on my back in like in terms of like being violent. It's like a loving jump on my back, right? And he's doing this, and he's yes, you did it, you did it. Pernell Whitaker, man, jumping on my back, and he was like he was happy for me, right? Pernell Whitaker, and the smile he had on his face, man, was like, dude, when Pernell Whitaker is that excited for you, that's what boxing is about. I met Pete with like when I was sponsored by Shelley Finkel, and Pete was like in the same camp. Well, I was in the same camp as Pete when like he was being groomed in his first like couple of fights as a pro, and for this guy to like jump on my back and acknowledge me like that. I mean, this is publicly. He's happy for me, and he's like, "Damn, you did." I'm like, dude, wow, man. I was embarrassed for him. Because, my man, it wasn't that serious, bro. But it is that serious. I mean, he didn't say that, but like, he just hugged me and shit. And fuck. Wow. Yeah. So, yeah. To add to that, you know who was walking up the aisle? Or like, in the same corridor? Evander.
And what
He gave me a look.
kind of look?
Not well, exactly. You know what kind of look. At some point, like, we got to tussle, man. He didn't say that. He didn't have to. But I said, like, I got it. Okay. Yeah, okay.